So this is the Page Puncher Superman. That was for the whole Black Adam thing. And, you know, I think this is a really good Superman because the costume is pretty close to, like, the original, but, like, not exactly, but it's close enough. And then the price is pretty good, too. Like, this is just like there's like 15 bucks just for the figure. But the problem with this one is that I don't really like the implementation of this head. I feel like it doesn't really give me the Superman vibe. And so I got this Superboy Prime, and I spent more on the Superboy Prime than I did on this actual Superman, but I did it just to get the Superboy Prime head. And so I feel like this Superman is kind of more like Superman that I recognized when I read the comics, and then also I'm going to have to recolor this body to match this head, and so I am going to be going for a brighter palette, because this one's just kind of like, it's almost not a, you know, like a blue and a red compared to even the Superboy Prime. So that's the customization I'm going to do for this figure, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've repainted the Superman, and it was dark before, but now it's like the right shade, except for the cape. The cape I'm going to remake out of fabric and then reattach it. So this is kind of what I've got going here. And I love him with the Superboy Prime head as well. I feel like this is the Superman that I recognize. And I have his hair is right and everything, and yeah, I'm just really happy with this. And even though this belt is not like a little circle in the middle, I kind of like it the way it is, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. Although I could swap it with another one that I have with the right belt, but I just don't really care about that. I feel like this works out pretty well. Now I just need to find a way to seal this paint, because I feel like this paint can just scratch off at any point. And so that's the next priority, is figure out how do I seal this paint. Also, the main issue I had is really just painting within the lines and then using a brighter yellow on top of the red. It kept smudging, and it's still smudged right now, but you probably don't notice it. But anyways, this is the current iteration of this. So this is the updated Superman with a matte clear finish on it. It does look a little bit more slippery and glossy than I would imagine it would be, but I guess this is the most matte you can get, unless you can get some kind of dull matte. But yeah, for the most part, I like it. It's not fully dry yet, and it seems to be some issues with the paint peeling off. And so I probably should have waited just a little bit longer before assembling it. But anyways, that's it so far. And now I just got to make the cape, and I'm going to make a cloth cape. I feel like I may just make a cloth cape with a kind of plastic anchor of some type. So it would be under the cloth, obviously, but it's something to kind of hide what's going on with his shoulders here, you know? Because this is where the cape used to be, and it just did not. You can just see where it's something supposed to be. And so, yeah, I'm going to definitely make some kind of covering. And obviously, the cape will go over his shoulders as well to hide all these issues there. But yeah, for the most part, I like his head. I like his body. Even though this belt is not a round circle, I like it too. So yeah, that's it. So the little update in my Superman. So the last time I was here, I put milliput type cape anchors on his shoulders, and now I've put a cloth cape on it. And I was thinking about pleating this, but then it won't actually be accurate, because I don't think the cape is pleated. I think it's just a longer length of cape stuffed into a smaller area, and so it just has these wrinkles in it. And so I tried my best to reproduce them by kind of just putting a thread through them and rippling them, so it just kind of like even folds all the way through. And in some places it worked pretty well, in other places it's kind of, well, I'm working with really small cloth here. And also, when it comes to the cloth, I got a polyester. It was like mostly polyester. It was like 90% polyester and maybe like 10% nylon. But I was basically, it's some kind of like athletic sweat. It's like a flexible, very elasticy type of sweatshirt, or not a sweatshirt, but like just like a shirt. And I cut it up, and I like it. I feel like it has the right amount of wrinkles, because if you get another like a cotton shirt or something kind of more thicker, it just won't have any wrinkles in it at all. And I don't want a flat cape that just doesn't wrinkle, because the point of this is just so it looks like a cape. And so, oh yeah, also this material is really hard to cut, and so as you can see, if you just cut it, you get these kind of edges, which are kind of rough, and so you need like a really good sharp scissor or knife or whatever to cut it. And what I found is the only way to work around that is to kind of sew it inside of itself, and so there is no hard edges on this cape, which I think works out fine for me. But I'm not done yet. I have to finish sewing up the bottom half in order to hide these rough edges and make it seem like at least it's like a single piece of cape. And then also I need to put Superman's shield on the back, and so after that I'll probably be done with Superman. So this is the final video on Superman. So what I learned is that if you make these double layered and you sew them, they automatically become the bad kind of cape, the cape I didn't like. And so I guess the real solution in the long term, and I'll probably modify this cape again in the future, but I'm just going to make it a single piece of fabric, and what I have to do most of all is find out a way to cut it without having weird frayed endings. And then this is just an emblem that I glued on with Gorilla Glue. I'm actually surprised that it glues on really strongly. But I really feel like this should be a cloth as well. So I know you can print on cloth sheets, and so I might do that and then acrylic seal them in the future. But for the most part, I'm happy with the Superman. I feel like I spent too much. This is a $50 Superman, and that's not what I wanted at all. I wanted to have a cheap Superman, and at first he was a $20 Superman, and that was a good price. But this head put it over the edge. That was like a $25 head just from the Superboy Prime. Anyways, I guess that's it.